characters are doing all this to themselves. Because to believe that Lara Croft is that unique, is that special, that fantastic, that edgy, then you better see that person do it, you know?
You've got to keep it fresh, keep it new, otherwise we all get you can't do the same thing twice.
I think last time it was just too easy. So many of the fights were too easy for me.
You know, she wants to get involved with everything, has opinion about everything. And so it was good that we knew to, you know, pass certain things through her, and really sometimes you need to rein her back because she wanted to do everything, and obviously insurance-wise, she's not allowed to.
It's not enough just to have a good story. Angelina had a list of things that she wanted to do in the film. New skills she wanted to learn, new locations she wanted to go to, and some kind of new combat she wanted to experience. She wanted to ride a horse. She wanted to have an underwater sequence. So how do you work those things into the story and make them seem organic? And one of the ways you do that is by having an actor like her who you are inspired to write for.
We've all seen many fights in movies, and you don't want to repeat yourself. No one, you want to repeat other fights you've seen in other movies, and so you have to come up with something new.
Training at first was really her putting on weight, and then we need to just build up just her stamina, so to speak, because she'd just been doing this famine-type relief worker film, and so she gets into the part. And so she was quite weak at first.
In my life, I normally, especially now with Maddox, I'll do running or I'll do a bit of boxing, but mainly just running around after a kid. Anybody who has one knows that that's enough.
My name's Ed Chow. I actually teach Taekwondo, and I teach members of the England team and the British coach.
I did a lot of boxing last time, and I just think certain things we haven't seen and things that are fun to train because we haven't done yet. So. But I think it's beautiful to see.
And these are all obviously martial arts techniques, but more Taekwondo based, with punching and kicking.
One of my enemies in the film is about 6'5". So I'm trying to get my foot to his head. We did some kicking last time and some, but I never really spent a lot of time just focusing on trying to understand the lines of the body and balance and height and just training as much as possible. I think the fights are more epic. I just think everything's bigger and more thought out. Everybody, I think, tried to one-up what they did last time.
Stick fighting. It was really just to show her versatility in that, you know, she does all these different things.
And it was, at first, it was going to be fencing because we knew she would have fenced because of the way she was brought up. But because of the Bond films and because we'd seen fencing, and so we thought, well, what would she be more? And we know she's into certain other cultures and other forms of training.
Lara is basically an expert with all weapons, so we had to get something where she is just amazing. And the butler is very traditional. So he can use the weapon very well, because obviously he trains with Lara, but not the flashy side. He's still very traditional-wise. And we kind of put the moves together. And then when you get the actual actors starting to do it, they put their little bits of acting and they get their characters to it. I had 3 kind of flashy moves throughout this fight that were the first things we thought we'd train her, that way then she's got more time on them. I think I had about 5 minutes with her one day, and she picked them up like that. So it kind of showed me up a bit.
She looked great doing it, and she learned it very well. Very, very good at learning tricky moves. I mean, she'd probably be a really good dancer.
1, 2, double block.
I didn't know anything about it. I'd seen it done before, and I always was fascinated. I think it's an amazing thing to be able to pick up something as simple as that and use it as a weapon. I think that's a great skill to have.
When we do this in a Korean style, we're using the long one, which is a bow staff, and the small ones are Filipino sticks. And throughout the fight, what it is that she gets angry and it becomes the 2 sticks, she snaps it. So we kind of got a gist of like 2 different weapons in one fight, which is really good.
Kendo is such a cool thing with all the gear that ended up on Hillary, and I decided to be tough and not wear any gear and got wrapped a few times. But it was great to train with him, and it was really fun. That was a really fun part of it, and it's a great skill to learn. I think I'll keep that one up.
Sorry.
And they read thousands. They had me in LA, kind of getting wetsuits and practice jet skis and things like that. I kept telling them to find things that look hard that are very easy, not things that look kind of easy that are really, really hard.
Roll camera, here we go.
We had a world-class jet skier with her. It wasn't just anyone just teaching her just to jet ski. She has to look really, really good. We were trying to teach her the various tricks that the professionals do.
It's really hard to stand up on that thing. You should try it. It's really hard. And she really jumps a wave, and she doesn't, she's not afraid to fall down and do it again over and over when necessary with a different camera. She's great at it.
That's your baby there. That's Atos. That is his double. That's Monty.
Is that the side saddle? No.
Side saddle. It's over there. Maybe we start to ride maybe first.
She'd ridden before, but then we threw a spanner in the works by asking her to ride side saddle, which, is difficult anyway. And then she had to fire a gun, and it's a heavy gun, and spin a gun.
My ass hurts.
Actually, I was very surprised because I don't know when I got asked, to give a riding lesson. I don't know what I was expecting. She could have been a fantastic rider, or she could have been. She started, and she really wants to learn, and she's physically very able. She got already the right seat, and she always wants to go one forward. Stride. Can I counter? Can I ride side saddle? And up to now, it's very good.
I don't know exactly what this is for.
We knew at first she didn't feel really comfortable because these, they're strong animals, horses. And if they want to go in a certain direction, no matter if you're the best rider in the world, they'll still go in that direction.
It was hard just because I always want to set challenges and I always assume I'll get it, but I think there were moments in that when I wasn't quite sure I was gonna do it all at once.
She's riding along, spinning a gun, reloading it, firing at various targets. You have to take things slowly, but obviously, at the end of the day, when someone is riding, if she falls off, she could hurt herself.
This is one of the beginning of injuries. This is a rifle shell in the eye from horseback. I pumped the shotgun, and the shell came into my eye. He wasn't completely broken in, so he still had that, which I loved, but he still had that, you're not going to tell me where to go, I'm going that way. And he had a lot of fire in him. So sometimes, like when he tried to knock me off into the bushes, because the gunshots, you have to find a horse that's comfortable with somebody riding side saddle, but also comfortable with helicopters, but also comfortable with a shotgun spinning on it. And you can't blame the horse for having enough.
You always have to make it better. Or really push more the boundaries. You set the standard on the first one, and now you have to take it further.
There's all so much to be thought out, which is great, but then when you pull it off, you're happy, and then hopefully it looks like nothing on screen. It looks just natural.